So huzzah, Marcus was able to get his stuff to work, and we think it was that zero argument constructor. And so I created an issue on my GitHub site. I guess I don't have it on my tabs anymore, which basically says, hey, add some stuff to the archetype to address all these concerns that you guys have been running into. Which is funny because I don't remember people. Yeah, I think there's more of you, and maybe because GWT has some new stuff too. But anyway, one thing was I'll add in all of the renames. I'll get rid of the ping service and just call it an appointment book service. Learned that last week. And then another thing I'm going to do is in the appointment class that's created by the archetype, I'm going to have an explicitly declared zero argument constructor. One of the things that's tricky in Java is that if you have a class and you don't declare a constructor, the compiler, when it generates the bytecode, will add a zero argument constructor for you. And so like what the archetype creates is an appointment book, which is pretty empty, right? And so it doesn't declare any constructor, but the language says that if you don't declare one explicitly, then you get an implicit zero argument constructor declared in there. Of course, then when you guys go and say, oh, my appointment takes a start time and end time and a description and stuff, you no longer have a zero argument constructor or anything, you run into all sorts of problems. So I need to figure out, so I'm going to at least add one to the archetype so that we can have this discussion 2 weeks ago in class as opposed to now after people have been banging their heads against it for a while. Okay. The final exam while you all came back from break. Sorry, I should have mentioned before break. Okay, yeah, wow. Here it is, the end of the term already. And so next week is the final exam. The final exam is worth like 12 points or something in your grade. The written portion is basically like 2 quizzes put together. So it's those same kind of questions. It's let's see here. I don't remember what they are, but it's stuff that I guess anything that you have done for your projects is fair game. So I won't quiz you on things like dependency injection or the advanced GWT. But there might be GWT questions on there, and certainly everything about about REST and about unit testing and about the Java util APIs. That's all fair game for that. And there's 6 of those questions. It's open book, open note, but not open device. It seems kind of strange to have to print out all this stuff or have to memorize or whatever. But I don't know how to administer an exam when people have computers in front of them, so they're not posting on Facebook. What's the question number 4? I don't know. I kind of just don't know what to do. Yeah.
So we can print out all the slides.
Yeah, you can print out the slides, kill some trees, use small font. I don't know. Yeah. What else? It's next week during regular class time, and. There's also an oral portion to it. So anyway.
So what does that mean?
We'll find out next week. So.
Do we get to do? Is it going to be like?
It's not interpretive dance.
It's not. It's like Sharon. Tell us about.
It's something that you're all prepared for,
functions. And
it will not be standing up in front. If anybody's got social anxiety about it, you're not up in front of the class, but you'll be talking.
pizza?
No, too many of you. I can't afford pizza. That's right. Okay. So that'll be next week. That'll be fun. That'll be it. Okay. So then, my brain's a little not organized right now. So I thought I would develop another GWT application for the game of life. So let's go through that again. Let me show you where we ended up with the game of life. So as you may recall, there was where did we start? 2 weeks ago? Yeah, our last kata was Conway's game of life, where you have this little set of rules about you've got two-dimensional grid of cells, and then you have some cells that are alive and some that are dead, and then you have some rules to determine whether or not you live to the next generation based on how many neighbors you have. And so there are rules about underpopulation and overpopulation. And so then I went through some of it. I think is on a screencast, and I think we finished it off last week, making my own little game of life. Let's see here. Nope. Java-jar target game of life. Oops. Oh. It's got all that stuff. Maven package. Missing file name. Oh yeah. What do I have? Game.txt. So I have a little. Turn my sound back on. So I have a little a text file where the first line is the number of rows, the number of columns, and I have a board of that size, and it starts out with this configuration. And then I have I have a program that reads that file, creates my little game of life class, and then iterates through various generations until everybody's dead. And it does this like every second. So there it goes. It's evolving. As you can see, there's more things that come to life, and then they go, and they populate, and then they get overpopulated and start to die, and then they get underpopulated, and then everybody dies. Okay, that's it.
So the lesson is we're all going to die.
Yes, yeah. I'm going to be up here doing beat poetry next. Yeah, I guess it is, the game of life. It's the only...
Are you going to end the British accent?
I was okay. I didn't want to go full game.
Yeah, that's right. Anyway, okay, so look, we have a command line program, like it's 1978. Let's write something, well, in GWT, like it's 2008. Okay. Progress. Okay. So, you're right. So let's just take a look at the classes for this. So what I've got is, we'll close this guy. We'll go back to the game of life. I think I basically have one class, game of life. It's got a, it's got a grid of characters. It's got it's got rows and columns, and it has a bunch of logic. Maybe if I look at the tests, that'll make more sense. Basically, what you do is you create one of these guys. You can populate it with various rows, and then you can, I think they call this compute next generation, which will then update that grid of characters, and that's what you end up being printing out. Okay. So that's the command line version of it. Let's create a GWT project that displays that in a web browser. So I'm going to start from scratch. Oops, not with that, with the project 5. I'm going to start from the archetype. It's going to blow up. Oops. And let's see here. It'll ask me what I want for stuff. Oh, that's not what I want. I don't want it called point book GWT catalog. Sorry, artifact ID is going to be game of life. GWT. Yeah, that all looks good. Okay, so let's. I don't know if I synchronize the project. Will that be okay? So there's a game of life GWT. It's got a whole bunch of stuff. Can I run things? Let's see here. Will this run okay? Just thinking about it. Okay, good deal. That seems to be cool. Does the Maven project work okay? Maven clean verify. So it's all the ping service and stuff, so we'll have to go through and rename some things. So in some respects, this is going to be a little bit like what you guys are going through, where you're taking your application that was sort of built for a command line, then we evolved it to be client server, and now we got to do some work to fit it into GWT. I think one of the things that, sort of from a design perspective, that I want to do is I want all of the heavy lifting of computing the generation to be on the server side, yes, it probably would run in JavaScript, but I think it's a better example to sort of say, hey, that's heavy lifting. Let's do that on the server side, and then have the client side just be about displaying it. So to figure out how to leverage my code accordingly. Okay, so there's I've got that. So let's run GWT just to make sure that the UI looks okay.
Well, you just changed the, looking at Maven archetype real quick.
Mm-hmm.
You change the archetype group, or sorry.
No, I'm sorry.
Artifact ID.
Yep.
From GWT to
Yeah, and that's really all that is just the name of what the jar file is, the name of the project in IntelliJ. It's nothing about the. If you look at the source code that was generated, as we'll see in a minute, it's all the same appointment book and ping stuff. We'll have to change that pretty quickly, shortly rather.
That's like where it's where it's pulling from your particular it's grabbing this archetype from dl.bigtrade.com.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. So yeah, it's the same archetype, just with a different artifact ID.
You just have this one boilerplate archetype in there that you created, and then you insert
Yes.
the archetype group ID and then artifact ID.
Yep. It's just the Project 5 archetype. Now I'm using it for Game of Life, just the same way I used it for my appointment book a couple weeks ago. Okay. Imported a GWT project for the created GWT project for the Game of Life using the Maven archetype. Okay. Commit that. Okay. Neato. Okay, so then let's go do some renaming and stuff. Okay, so ping service, simple test. Let's have the Game of Life service. So, oops, those should all be. No, I didn't add them. So what did I just commit? Huh. Okay, we'll find out. Wow, why is that so messing up? Okay. I'll do that same commit again, same message, commit and push. Okay. Now I'll start renaming some stuff. Ping service, we want to call this Game of Life. Actually, you know what? Let's not do that. So I want let's move in the Game of Life classes first. The same way that you had to copy in your appointment book and pretty printer and stuff like that, I got to do the same thing here because I only have one class. That makes it a little easier. Move that into the client. Actually, no. I want to keep Game of Life on the server side. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a new way of just getting information, a little bit of information about the Game of Life. What is all of that? Oh, I need to I moved it. No, cancel. I wanted to copy it. That was the problem. There, yep, move it in there. Copy an editor, sure. Even put it in the right package. That was nice of it. I'm going to copy over the unit tests too. Test, Game of Life test. Put that in the server package also. Because I might be making changes to it, and I want to make sure that I can test it, and that as I make changes to stuff, the unit tests all work. So let's run. Oops, didn't want to debug it. Well, I don't know what I just did. Oh, I guess it did run 22 tests. Okay, everything passed. Cool. So now I've got my Game of Life classes there. So I think what I want to do is actually, maybe what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with my UI. So instead of appointment book GWT, I'm going to rename this to Game of Life GWT. And actually, I'm just going to, I'll delete my appointment book and my appointment book in a little bit. No, I can't replace with Lambda. And I want to build up my UI a little bit. So I'm going to run in dev mode, and let's build out a UI. So I can rename the HTML file also. Yeah, at some point. I think I would normally do that first, but you're all watching, so I want to make sure to get to the important stuff, so we're not here until like 10 p.m. Okay, so what I want to do now is instead of having a ping server, I'm going to say create start new game of life, and then I'll just rename that instead of button. I'll just say start game. And I'm going to want some other widgets also. I'm going to want want to have a text field, text box for number of rows, and one for number of columns. And let's see here. I will put that here and add widgets. Oh, that's right. I need to do all this stuff. So another thing I'm going to do is refactor the code that you get from the archetype so it's a little easier to work with. Oops. Because as you know, the first thing that we did before was that we Is that it? Oh, I broke Travis. Sorry, Travis. There we go. No? Where is the method here? There we go. And we'll have, well, this is like ping server, pint server. That's a little easier to read. Okay. And so now we'll have number of columns equals new text box. And is there a constructor there? No. And then we'll say number of columns set max length to be 3. So we'll have like 200, and then number of columns dot set visible length to be 3 also. And then we'll do the same thing for rows. I'm going to create a method for this because I'm about to duplicate it. I'm going to say show only 3 characters. And, oh, I want to, sure, do that. Because now I'm going to do the following. I'm just going to duplicate this and say number of rows. Rows, and where do I add? Where do I add? Oh, right here. Okay, so now I need to in addition to this, I need to do root panel dot add not new number of rows first, number of rows, number of columns. I wonder if I got it right. I'm going to reload. That's really awful. Okay, so first of all, so what I need now is I need a layout. I'm just going to use a horizontal panel. Horizontal panel. Panel equals new horizontal panel. And now I'm going to add I'm going to say panel dot add number of rows. Nope, number of rows. I'm going to say add number of columns. Then I'm going to panel dot add start game, and then I'll add the panel to the root panel. See what that looks like. A little better. And then here I'll add a label, which is rows. Oops. I'll add a new label, which is columns. I don't know, what does that look like? Oh, oops, in the wrong order. Nice. Okay. So I'm going to commit because I've got stuff working. 6 files. My goodness, what did I change? What did I change here? Oh, because I renamed it. Okay, that would do it. Okay. So I'll say add a couple of widgets to the UI. Push. Okay, so now I've got my UI. Sort of. It's not as pretty as I'd like it. But now I need to do something. I guess actually there's one other thing that I'm going to. So I have the ability to create the game. But I don't have the ability. I don't have a board to display it on. And so now I want to be. I need to have a game board. So this is. I'm going to rename this rows and columns. Oh no, I'm going to name it input. That's really kind of what I do. It's a terrible name. And then what I want is I want something else. I'm going to want a text area to display my game in. Because I think, given the amount of time tonight, I don't know if I can do anything fancier. So I want to call that the game board, maybe. So I'm going to want a text area. Text, no, shoot, what's that called? Text. What's that called in GWT? I can't remember the name of it now. Text. No, I want two. I want a rectangle, so not just one line, but multiple lines. Text area. Oh yeah. Okay. How come it didn't come up for me when I tried to add it? Text area. Oh, there it is. Okay. Yep. Okay. I'm gonna just call it grid. Okay, and so then, and so I want to. I think this is. Yeah. So I want to say, when I click the. Yeah, when I click the Start Game button, what I want to do is I want to then create a text area of the number of rows by the number of columns. Okay, so how do I do that? Well, let's see here. I will say here when I click, on-click, before I ping the server, I'm going to say create grid. And this gets a little interesting. So I need to say this.grid equals, new text area. I don't have the number of rows and columns, right? This takes, grid.set.
Wait, text area is a widget that is just showing a block of text, or is that a text field that we?
A text field is a text box. So a box is one line, area is two-dimensional, has rows and columns. Yep. Yeah.
So you
Oh, I can just do it that way.
injecting just some kind of text content, whatever you choose to do.
Right. And you know what? I realized that text area, the size of it is dynamic. So I don't need to do it. I can create it. I can create it down here where I create the. Actually, it's dumb of me to create these guys in different places. I don't know why I have add widgets. That doesn't actually add the widgets. It's a bad name. This.grid equals new text area. And now when I create the grid, I want to do the following. I want to say int number of rows equals get number of rows. Oops. And then this will basically say the following. So string number equals this dot number of rows dot get text. I'll say return parse integer that thing, and so then I'll just say and return integer dot parse it. And the reason I'm doing this in its own method is so I can add some error handling later, but I'm a little too lazy to do that right now. And then I'm going to do the same thing with columns. Columns, get number of columns. I don't like that so much. You know what? I'm just going to inline that method. There you go. Now I'm just going to say parse integer this dot number of columns. Oops. Number of columns dot get text. And I'm going to say this dot grid dot set character width. That's the number of columns. And I'm going to say this dot grid dot set visible length. Oh wait, get visible lines, set visible lines. I'm sorry, yeah, set visible lines.
Grid was our that's a text area.
Text area, yep.
So you're changing it from being dynamic to giving it this by using its methods.
And I'm sorry, by dynamic, I mean not dynamically, it won't dynamically size itself based on its content. Instead, I need to programmatically, I change it. But it's not like I initialize it once with a certain size. After I initialize it, I can change it. There, that's what I meant. But I wasn't clear.
Wait.
Yeah.
You're saying that, like, you throw that widget up there, and you have some chunk of text that you loaded into it. You're saying it's dynamic in the sense that it does, like, change with, like, you put it on something.
It's not dynamic based on its content. It's dynamic, but it's not. After I instantiate the text area,
Yeah.
so where I instantiate it, right? It has some default number of rows and columns.
It does, okay.
But then later on, when I click the button, we'll see that I can change the size of the grid. I think. Fingers crossed. Okay, so now I've handled it, but I forgot to add it to the UI in typical Dave fashion. So I'm going to use a dock panel and call this panel, new dock panel. And then I'm going to say panel.add. I'm going to add the input in the north, dock panel.north. And then in the center, I'm going to add the grid. Oops. In dock panel.center. And then here I'm going to add the entire panel. Let's see if that works. Oops. Okay, there it is. So I want to have one that's 2 by 2. It's 2 by 2. I want to have one that's 20 by 30. Okay, it seems to be resizing okay. But I got the rows and columns backwards. Right? Because that should be, oh, maybe it's not 20 rows. Oh, wait a second. Is that a fixed width font? Oh, maybe it is. Okay. That's, okay, kind of cool, kind of ugly. But I think that'll work. Okay. So now, okay, let's check this in. Okay, added a grid on which to display the game of life.
Did you run it? Are you running this currently in dev mode? Right?
Yep, I'm running in dev mode.
Okay, you just went into the command line or you just went to the terminal and did GWT.
Yeah, so I got GWT running here in the background.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay, so now that I've got this, it's time to do something a little bit. Okay, so now we have sort of got my bare bones UI, and yeah, I suppose I could be writing some tests to go along with this. Yeah. So let's see here. The next thing I want to do then is something more interesting. So I guess when I want to create the game of life, I need to tell the server to create myself a game of life, and it's got to return something that I then display. So now it's time to deal with the service. So let's see here. Let's figure out where that's used. There we go. Okay. So there's create grid, and then ping server. Ping server is not. I'm not really pinging it. What I'm going to do here, I'm going to say start new game of life. Okay. So what do I need to do that? So now it's time to rename things. I'm going to call this. So it's not really the whole game of life that I'm returning. I'm getting like a generation in the game of life. So I'm going to say, hey, server, create a new game of life. And it just says, hey, here's your generation. Because I don't want to have all of the functionality of the game of life come over. I just want to have like those cells, that array of stuff. So I'm going to call this the generation service. Async. Async. Yes. And it recognized like, hey, do you want to change all this other stuff? And the answer is yes. Thank you very much. Okay, now I need to start my GWT over again. See if that works. Or I got to change something on the server side. I need to restart all of that.
When you tweak the,
I think I do anyway.
The service implementation, whenever you're tweaking the server, that's when you would have to restart.
That's when I do. Maybe you don't have to, but oops, this doesn't work good. But I found it's always safe to do that.
Can you delete that? Can you get rid of that?
But we'll do just a second. Yeah. That'll be sort of the next thing. So okay, so when we create the generation service, we're not pinging. We're going to do the following. We're going to say create new game of life, and it's going to have it needs the number of rows and the number of columns. So you know what? Number of rows. Maybe I do want to get number of rows method now. Where was that? Where did I have that? Right here. So now I guess I do want to have get number of rows, because now I want to reuse that logic. What is it saying? No exact duplicate methods were found. So keep the originals. What did I just do? That was weird. Okay. Get number of columns. What is it? Wait, no exact duplicate. Extract parameters to replace duplicates. What is IntelliJ telling me? Maybe it's something important. I shouldn't just ignore it. Oh, it's telling me. Yeah, no. Okay, that's fine. Oops. Oh yeah. Get number of rows. Maybe I don't need these variables, but I find it easier to read when you have these variables here. Number of columns. Okay, now I'm going to send these to. I'm going to have number of rows, number of columns. I'm going to change the signature to take two new things, called number of rows and then the async, refactor. Now it's going to complain about some stuff because it ought to complain about some stuff. Or maybe it added. Did it all edit correctly? Oh, it did. Thank you, IntelliJ. Oops. And it added it all here. Everybody's all happy. Okay. good. Changed it all over the place. All sorts of things will break, I'm sure. But we'll go back here. Okay, so so now I've added those two parameters. I'm going to do something else. I'm going to use something called a generation. So generation. I'm going to create this class. Oops, what did I just do? Oh wait, what did it import something? Yeah, hotspot memory. I don't think so. That's not what I wanted. It didn't give me the option. Where's my generation? No. No! Give me another option. Do I hit shift or something? No. Do I hit this? No. Oh, bother. Okay, fine. On my client side, I'm going to create a class. Oops. I'm going to say new Java class generation. Do I want it to be a class? Yes, I want it to be a class, not an interface. Yay. Okay, so now do you know who you are? Okay, and so now, yes, we must. Yeah, I'm just going to start over with a new. Sorry, get this out of the way. I'm going to create a new onSuccess method. I'm going to get rid of this old one, which displays the alert that nobody likes. That was weird. Doesn't it like? Found generation required. Oh, appointment book, right? Because I haven't changed the signature of change third parameter of yes. Okay, change that. Yes. Okay. Now on the success. Okay, so I get one of these generations back, and I'm going to say display generation. Generation. And I'm going to create in the outer class. Okay, so this is the thing that's going to take the contents of the generation, which is basically just going to be that grid of characters, and it's going to put it in the grid. So, what do I need to do? I need to say, actually, what is the set text? Oh, interesting. So I can't set line by line, and that's probably fair. So basically what I need to do is I need to create a big old string with all of the information in the generation. Okay, that's cool. So I'm going to create a string builder, sb equals new string builder, which I'm pretty sure I can do on the client side. And I'm going to say for, what? Okay, I'm going to say for int row equals generation dot, oh, sorry, for it's going to start at 0. Well, I'll say row is less than generation dot get number of rows, row plus plus, and this now is going to be something on generation. Get, yeah, I'll just create a property, I guess. Getter, sure. And then say for int, well, actually it'll just be this, and I'll say sb.append. I'm going to say generation.getRow, row, and then create method.getRow. Character array? Well, it could be a character array. I guess that's okay. And let's just for the sake of making this easy. Well, no, let's just have it be. Oh. And then sb.append new line, and then we'll say this.grid.setText to be sb.toString. So now I think we're not doing anything. Oh, what doesn't it like? Well, it ought to. Generation, and then this doesn't generation. and then we'll just say return new generation. Okay. Actually, I wonder if in dev mode it should break, right? It'll, failed. Just give me a... Oh, interesting. No instantiable subtypes, should it? I'm going to just stop dev mode and just rebuild it again. They did change stuff on the client side, or on the server side. Oops, it doesn't look like. Oh, model it well. It hasn't. Oh. Okay, so let's see here. This module hasn't compiled yet. Okay, so it's compiling module, compiling all possible rebind results for generation service. Generating client proxy for remote service interface, this thing. Generation has no, instantiable subtypes. True, I didn't make it serializable? Is that what you're trying to tell me, GWT? Oops.
So, what has to be serializable?
Things that go between the client and the server. So your parameters, your return types from your service have to be serializable.
Parameters in your return types, everything has to be.
Yep. Any objects that go from the client to the server to the client must be serializable. Serialization is how you take that object and send it between the two. Yep. Yeah, okay. It's a little happier now. So 3 by 4. Oops, it didn't. Huh. I would have expected it to do something there. So let's debug it. Super dev mode. You can do crazy stuff like this now. I wish I had a bigger screen. Okay. I'll make this a little smaller. There we go. So let's see what I get back. Cool. Let's see here. Generation. How do I see what generation is? Oh, well, so I will just step into that. So here we go. Oh, get number of rows always returns 0. That's why. Sorry, I skipped like 3 steps ahead. I'll debug for. Let's see here. Where's just step over? Here we go. Right. So generation get number of rows. Can I say evaluate from here? Evaluate in console. Sure. Ah, generation is not defined. No, it's not. How do I? Maybe it's not. Generation dot get number of rows. It doesn't seem to have a value. Oh wait, can I make that bigger? Yeah, it says. Oh, I didn't spell it right. First of all, but maybe you can't evaluate that. No, it says not available. Huh? Can I just watch generation? So maybe all it gives you is the ability to. That's pretty weak. So maybe what the debugger gives you is just the ability to go through the code, but it doesn't give you the ability to inspect things. That. Oh wait, no, here it is. Sorry, wait. No, these are on. That's the call stack. Scope. Ah, of course, it's called generation underbar 0 underbar G dollar. Number of rows property is 0. That would do it. So maybe if I said instead generation underbar 0 underbar G dollar dot get number of rows. It's got that's so smart. Oh, that's nice, but what I really want to do was run it. 0.
So is that because, is the debugger running on the JavaScript? Or
Yes. Right, and this is the thing where if you go back and look at the lecture, which was recorded a couple years ago, back when we were just in like dev mode instead of super dev mode. So super dev mode is not only much faster, but it uses, it lets you debug the JavaScript on the client side, but you get the source code from the Java, and it uses this feature in Chrome and other browsers called source maps to maintain the two. But it looks like there are, oh, Travis passed. Yay, Travis. But it looks like there is name mangling and stuff, which maybe isn't terribly too surprising. But anyway, this is neat. Okay, but the problem is that, oh yeah, if you look at my implementation of get number of rows, where is it? Get number of rows, it's 0. So let's just say number of rows will hard code it to be 3 always. And here, I think if I just reload, it'll get the change. So 3 by, yeah, bad example. 5 by 4. Oh, yeah, I don't, just keep going. No, still didn't work. Help me understand. Why didn't that? Okay. So let's see generation again, and it's really generation. If I say get number of rows, oh, what is it? Oh, what is generation here? Oops. Oh, it says I'm not paused. It should be paused.
You continue.
Oh, did I? Okay. Oh, here we go. Pause and debugger. But where? Some crazy place I don't want to be. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to reload. I'm going to say 4 by 5. I'm going to start the new game of life. Pause and debugger. Here we go. Call stack, generation. Oh, it says number of rows is 0. So maybe I do need to. Maybe I do need to restart GWT dev mode. Because I did make a change that would affect the server side. Oh, right, yeah, right. That makes sense. Who can tell me why it makes sense? Anyway. So this is the kind of funny game that you play, this distributed program. I had made a change just on the client. And what I had done was I just said, oh, the value of this field is 3 here in the source code. So when the object is created, its value is 3. Where is the object created? On the server side. The server side hadn't been updated. And so when the server side created the generation and sent it over, even though the code said it should be 3, and I reloaded it in the browser, so I thought it would be 3, it's not. The value is created on the server is 0, and it's sent over and it's still 0. So I need to restart GWT dev mode again, and I need to reload it, and it's slow, so I say 4 by 5, I start the new game of life. I look at my generation, it says number of rows 3, hey, this is a little bit more promising, and now I've got some stuff there. Okay, yay. Progress, okay. So things are working, I'm going to commit. So let's see here. Introduced a generation class to hold the state of a game of life. Commit and push. Commit. Okay, now things get a little bit more interesting. So now I want to look at, where's my service simple? Okay, so here I am, I want to create a new game of life. Well, I need to create a new game of life. So game of life, game equals new game of life. It has a number of row count and a column count. Oops. Number of columns. Okay. And what do I want to do? I need to populate it. Okay. Well, you know what? Nah, I'll populate it later. I just want to get it back there. So I've got this game of life. I need to create a new generation from the game of life. And so I guess I'll add a method, which is get generation to that. And I'll call it get current generation. And I'll also have it be a method. Awesome. Okay, so now I've got, what's all complaining about? Well, yeah, I copied the class over. Of course, it's going to be the same code. Well, I've got the grid. So I want to say return new generation, just this dot grid. Let's just do it that way. And then we will create that constructor. And we'll say this dot grid equals grid. And then we'll create a field. And then, oh, what doesn't it just turned red? Serializable class should provide public no arg constructor. Oh, well, it warned me about it. Generation. Okay, so yes, I need a zero argument constructor. And now it's saying variable grid might not have been initialized, which is true because I have a zero argument constructor that doesn't set grid and it's a final field. It can't be final. So there I go. Okay. Number of rows here. Oh, this is actually isn't going to be. I can just create the number, get the number of rows from the field. So let's see here. This is grid. This dot grid dot length. Right. That's the number of rows. And then just do this. Why is it saying this? No, I can't. Or maybe it can. I guess it can. Okay, let's give this a try. See where we're at. Oops. Changed a bunch of stuff on the server side. Oh, you know what? I think this is going to blow up. No, maybe it won't. I think let's return something that's empty. So it's not very interesting, but we'll see. So let's see if it gets far enough. Oops, pause in the debugger. It's a little early. That's funny. Why did it stop there? Did that mean something's wrong? Huh. Oh, I know why. Did I add code? I think my breakpoint might have changed. It wasn't smart enough to. My source code changed and then it said your breakpoint's at line 47, but I added new stuff. Did I? No, I only changed stuff on the server side. So I don't know why that got messed up. Huh. Interesting. 4 by 5. Create new game of life. Generation. Let's see what we got. A generation. There's the grid. Array of 5. Oh wait, did I get that backwards? Yeah, did I get that wrong? Wait, columns. No, that's right. 4 rows. No, that's not right. 5 by 5. Oh,
Gave it column and column.
did I give column and column? Okay, I will check that out. First, let's let it run and see what we get. Oh yeah, I didn't change that. Okay, so yeah, let's double check that. Oh, like maybe the impl here? Yes, I did. Thank you. Wait, did you guys see that not say anything? Come on, it's like on the bus. See something, say something. Come on. I mean, okay. Okay. Well, okay. That was swell. And now let's go here and let's implement this to actually do the thing. which is return, this dot grid, nope, this dot grid, and then row. Okay, and this will be like empty, I think. Let's see here. I change stuff on the server side. Yes. Yes? Oh, maybe not. Yes, I changed stuff on the server side. I changed how it was created. So then I need to change that. There's got to be a way to. I'm gonna keep breaking Travis. Is there? Oh, I could restart the server maybe. I bet that would do it. Let's try that again. Okay, we might have a chance. So compile the appointment book. Very slowly. Okay, we've got a breakpoint right at least. 4 by 5. We hit it. Our generation is 4. Each one of those is 5. Each one of those is empty. Okay, so then let's just see what happens as we go along. It displays, okay, it's got lines of stuff, but they're all empty strings. Oh, it's even got a little scroll bar, which is dumb looking. Okay. Okay, more progress. So let's commit that stuff. So now this is what? Create a generation from the Game of Life board. Okay. Now we need to make this board interesting. So I don't know. Any good strategies for populating interesting boards for games of life? Maybe just do some random. What? Random? Yeah. Sure. Okay. True. But that had fixed width. So let's try random. Let's see what we got. Okay, Travis. I know I've broken something. Okay. So in the real world, I would like pay attention to Travis. I would be like, stop what I'm doing, go fix it. But I'm in a hurry. Okay. So randomize game, and that's bad. Populate game with random cells. That's the Game of Life. Okay. So actually, let's just start out by game.add row. Let's just. Oh no, I can't do that. Okay. For int row equals 0 while row is less than game.get row count, row plus plus, row plus plus. For int column equals 0 while column is less than game.get column count. Oh, I don't have a get column count. That's interesting. I should. I need one now. Column plus plus. Just create the getter. Well, let's see here. How is get row count implemented? Get row count. No. Get row count. Oh, row count is a thing. Oh, the column count is a thing too. Okay, that's nice. Oh, yeah, thank you. Don't mind if I do. Yeah. Okay. And then we need to say what? We need to say string builder row string equals new string builder. And then we need to say row string dot append get random cell state. Get random cell contents state, because it's either alive or dead. Create method that's going to return just a character. And then what we're going to say game.addRow row string dot toString. Let's get this much. It's a very bad random, but I just want to see if it works. Change the server. Oh yeah, so we will try. I don't know what happens when you say restart server. Warning: GDBC unloader could not be found in the web app. Well, that's okay. Who cares? That's nice. Did it restart? I don't know. Did it do something? Reload. 4x5. Start new game of life. Let's see what my generation is. 5. Nope, it didn't take. Okay. So I don't know what that restart server does. Maybe it doesn't do what I think it does. Thinking about something. My generation good stuff. Yay! 42. Okay. Okay. 4 rows, 5 columns. Pretty cool. Okay, now I really want to randomize it. And so then, oh, what? I'm gonna create random equals new random. Oops. Oh, really? Doesn't it like? Oh, how do I get a random? Oh, really? Okay, well, I guess I thought there used to be a way to like actually create a random, and that's all right. So let's see here. Now we could do what? I'm trying to think of a good like ratio of alive to dead. So what do you think?
Make it
50-50? Maybe we should start there. Okay. So well, that's easy to do. Boolean is alive equals random dot next boolean, and then return is alive, then star, oops, otherwise dot. This is why it. I'm going to start when you start GWT mode all these times. This is why it might be easier to develop your server-side code with like unit tests and stuff like that to get it all working and running fast and stuff like that, and then you hook it up to your UI. Might be a little faster that way. Although I'm impressed, like my little laptop seems to be keeping up. You're a good little laptop. 4 5. Start life. Whoa! What did it like? Oh, what? I'm using Java Util client random. What the hell is that? Am I using the wrong random? Yeah, I don't want to use a client side. I want Java Util random. That was weird. Okay, well that would do it. Okay, that would explain why I was surprised that I couldn't instantiate a random. I was using the wrong random. I want this random. Okay, equals new random. Yeah, that's what I want. That's the random I like. Okay. I'm creating it once and passing it in because it might be expensive to create it, and there's no and I just want to do it once. So now I can say random.next boolean. There you go. Much better. That was weird. Okay, so what just happened there? So my server-side code tried to use client-side code. I think some of you have run across this too, where it's like in the JUnit test, right? JUnit test is just plain old unit test, right? And it's like, oh, I'm using GWT stuff. And so here it gets this unsatisfied link error, which is a weird, it's kind of a weird error. That means like, hey, there's like native code that I can't see. In this case, it's like JavaScript code that I can't see. Yeah, that was freaky. But other times you'll see like, can't invoke GWT.create on the server side, that kind of thing. Yeah, that was weird. Okay. Do this. Randomness. Okay. Hey, there we go. That's pretty dense right there. I don't know. Want to do like 1/4 of the time alive? Well, let's just play with it some more. We can tweak that actually once we see something. Let's make something bigger. Let's do 40 by 50. Ooh, that's interesting. Perhaps. It's really hard to read. Goodness. Okay. In the real world, I would adjust fonts. And it's interesting that, you've got all this like buffer on the side. So maybe the width isn't what I think it is. Or actually, it's probably the font. Anyway. Okay. Well, so this is kind of neat. Now it's so this is just randomize so populate a new game of life with a random initial state. Okay, now we want to do the next thing. So we want to have we want to start a new game of life, and then we want to be able to go to the next generation. Okay, so let's figure out how to implement that. So we will go back to our GWT. Let's add a new button. Button start. Oops. Button start game, and we'll say button next generation. Make it so number 1. Okay. And so then here we'll say this dot next generation equals new button compute next generation, and then this generation dot add click handler, new click handler, and then I'll say compute next generation. And actually, it's not so much compute as it is display. Display next generation. Okay, whatever. All right. So then we need to get our service. Oh yeah, our service. Okay, I'm sorry. So what is this going to do? This needs to call the server and say, hey, tell me what the next generation is. Okay, we can do that. As soon as I get my service here, where is my service? Here's my service. I want to call this, I want to rename this to my generation service. And I want to turn this into a field and initialize it in some place that I can't type right now. I don't want that. Where do I want that? I want that in the place where I, oops, sorry, it's smaller. There we go. I want this in the same place that I create the widgets, I think. Okay, so there's my generation service. And so now I'm going to say this dot generation service. I want a new method. I'm going to say get next generation, and I'll create this. It's not going to return void, it's going to return a generation. So all sorts of things are going to blow up. And then what's it complaining about? Then please make asynchronous variable. Oh, you know what? No. This is the asynchronous. It needs to be void. It needs to take one of those async callbacks of a generation. and then async. And then it doesn't have a good corresponding synchronous. You're right. So go add to the other interface. Sure. Oops. That all sounds good. Make it public because I like that. And then if I go down to this guy, it'll complain that you don't implement that, and that is true. Okay, I'm going to come back to this guy in a minute, but first of all, I want to finish this guy off. This guy needs a new async callback of generation. We will, what do we do on the other one? We just call the alert or something, alerter.alert. Yeah. Yeah, oh wait. Sorry, what? Right, the callback has the asynchronous Ajax and the fact that when you call from the client to the server, it's the call happens in the background. So basically, like I click the button, and I need to go say, hey, go and hey server, go invoke this method. And I'm not going to wait for you to come back because remember, if you wait, then like your whole UI is blocked up. No other events can be processed. So you don't want to do that. You basically want to go say, oh yeah, by the way, send off the letter in the mail. And then that goes and does its thing. Well, when it has a return value, you still want to handle that. So what the async call does, or what the service method that takes the async service interface, what it does is its methods have both the parameters that you end up sending to the service, like when we had the number of rows and the number of columns, and then it says, well, when that thing returns, here's this handler object that that you should send the results to. Either the result is an error, in which case on failure is called, or you're successful, in which case on success is invoked with that result from the server.
This is an interface that the client implements.
This is an interface the client uses.
Okay.
Yeah, implements is like is the GWT magic, right? So like when we right. Sorry, alert.
And is the callback actually sent to the server, or it's just like the client?
It is. Yeah, it's not really sent to the server. So it's.
It sends the request, and then once some reply comes back, then it says, okay, now I do the call.
Yes, essentially.
In a broader networking, asynchronous networking sense, how would you define callback? Callback is like what?
Oh, what is it like?
Yeah, I mean, not like extract a little further from this specific GWT context. Like when you do asynchronous networking like this, where you send out a request, the whole system doesn't hitch up. The server is dealing with this in some background process. So maybe it's some like logic intensive thing. It's done. Bing, your toaster light goes off or whatever.
Your toast pops up. Yep.
The callback is
The callback is on.
yeah.
The
Picking up the toast and butter, but who's picking up?
well, okay. So
Is that
yes.
torture analogy or?
The at the lowest levels of the system, there really is no asynchrony. Yeah, you've got like processors with multiple cores, but at the end of the day, there's some part of this which is always serial. It's just the way the computer works. So what's really happening? Okay, is that there are all these. There is inside your browser. There's a single event loop. JavaScript is single threaded, meaning that there's only one thread of execution that's happening there. And so, that single thread will load the page, and it will create the DOM, and it'll read the JavaScript, and actually some of that might be parallel these days. But anyway, exceptionally, it's all one thread that does that. So it gets everything ready, and then it's like, okay, what do I do? Well, I've displayed the page. Now I'm going to wait for events to come in from the browser. And so the browser, then using the native operating system's event handling loop, you click on a button, and that button then puts an event on an event queue, and there's a thread that's sitting there constantly polling the event queue, saying, oh, there's an event to handle. Great, I'm going to pick up that event, I'm going to run with it. Okay, so that's like clicking the button. Okay, and so then you click your button, and what does your application do? It takes that click event, and it says, great, I'm going to go read the value of this text field to get the number of rows, the number of columns. Great, and now I need to go call the server. So that invokes Ajax, which is part of the browser, which basically says, okay, it puts together a little HTTP request, which has the information to invoke the service. So it says, like, here's the name of the service, and here's the URL for the service, and here's the method I'm calling, here's the parameters, puts up a little bundle, and sends that off on its way. But meanwhile, the event handling thread that had called this AJAX thing returns, so it can then go handle the next event. Well, there's other parts, and maybe multi-thread, that's checking to see, hey, have I gotten a response? Have I gotten a response? Oh, look, I've gotten a response. That thread knows how to then correlate the response that comes back with that initial request and its callback. And then it says, here's the response, here's the callback, and then that puts it on the event queue. And then once you're done processing the next browser event, then it gets the code to say, oh, great, now I'm going to execute the callback. Does that make sense?
So it's packaging the response with the thing that it's going to do and putting that on the database.
Yes. Yeah. So essentially that's it. So if you look at the HTTP, the XHR, the XML HTTP request object in like the Google API, or look in the Mozilla, I think is it standard? Yeah, it's pretty standard these days. Yes, there's like a JavaScript API for accessing that object, and it takes a JavaScript function, which is the callback, and so GWT translates all this Java code into that JavaScript function and then calls those APIs. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay.
That does.
Okay. Good. I like the toast analogy. Maybe because I'm a little hungry. I don't know.
It's more like should be like there's a whole kitchen analogy, like a short order cook analogy here.
Yeah.
That needs to be fully fleshed out.
Right. So it's like, and the cook is sort of walking around the kitchen.
The guy on the thing, and they put the thing up when they, the little tab they put on the rotating guy.
Yep.
Like,
Right.
Yeah.
And then I go off, and the chef will go off, and we'll put the toast in the toaster, and put the toaster down.
He's slicing up the
Right, and then goes to the next station, like start some eggs and stuff like that, and then we'll sort of eventually get around again to the toast. And the toast is there, good. I'll go, and then I'll butter the toast and put that on the plate. And the next person, yeah, maybe.
And he puts it with the table number and all that crap.
Yeah, right. And then eventually, it all gets correlated back to the ticket. Yep, and then that then goes out, out into the dining room, and you can think of it like that. It's a pipeline, right? You've got various, actors playing here. You've got the client and the server inside the browser. You got all sorts of different interactions and stuff like that. Yeah.
Okay.
Now I'm really hungry. Anyway, yeah. Sorry, where was I? Oh yeah, right. Yeah. And here I want to alert the throwable, and here on success I want to display generation. Okay, so what have I done here? I've created this new service method called getNextGeneration, and I tell the service, give me the next generation for that game that I created. If something goes wrong, I'll throw alert. Travis is still angry with me. And on success, I'll just display the generation again. Well, that's nice. Now I need to implement this thing. Okay, I've got a... okay. Now, I created my game up here, and I need to use it in a different method. So this is an interesting design decision. You've got data on the server side. And how do you manage that data on the server side when you've got one client, we've got multiple clients? So what I'm going to do here, for the sake of for the sake of brevity, is I'm just going to put this game in a field, right like that, and I'm going to initialize it there. Now remember, so the picture that you should have in your head is you got your browser and you've got your server. In your server, there is only one instance of the service. And that means that any client that hits it is going to see the same service. I'll see if I can do that here. Actually, yeah. So I'm going to say, throw new unsupported operation exception because it's not implemented yet. So this is kind of an interesting property of this. So let me let me quit out of that. Quit out of this. Run it again. Wow, okay. So if I do that, oh, maybe this one might not be so interesting yet. Actually, I can't show off quite what I want to show off yet. There it is. But that's not interesting. Sorry. Can't quite show off what I want to show off yet, so I'll just do this instead. I'll just say this. I'll say this.game. Compute next generation. Return game.get current generation. And I think that will, that'll do it. Although you'll notice that there is no button. I didn't add the button to the interface. So I need to do that. Here, I'll just add input.add next generation. Yeah, that button. Okay. So let's see here. I did change the client, the backside, so I need to do that. I hope this is either validating what you've been doing for the last week and it's like, oh, good, I did it right, or it's sort of showing you the process that you have to go through to develop one of these applications. I'm just having fun writing GWT code. So 4x5, start the game, compute next generation. Oh, stuff is going. Okay, oh, this is interesting. Okay, so it's got several generations. Oh, nice. It's sort of like reached an end state. That's cool. That's cool. Okay, let's.
Did it actually run the game and like people everybody died? It started random and then everybody died?
Well, no, it got to it got to what's the right word for equilibrium,
Oh,
right? So in this configuration, it will never change, right? Oh yeah, okay. So squares always stay alive because everybody's got, yeah, exactly three neighbors. But let's start another one. See if we can get it to. There we go. It's gonna die. That one died. Okay, this is kind of neato. Let's add some more stuff. So sorry, I wanted to show you something. Yes, okay. So I'm going to if I start my server again. So if this does what I think it does, I'll get that weird warning. But okay, so if I reload the page, if I say compute generation, oh no, it's blowing up. Why did it? Oh yeah, right, it blew up. What?
you hadn't started.
I hadn't started a new game, and the reason it blew up, it should go to null pointer exception someplace. Yes, null pointer exception on line 26, because I didn't have, here my service, line 26, game was null, because I hadn't created a new one. Okay, I'll go and create a new one. 4x5, start new game, next generation, cool. If I open up another browser tab, and I go to my URL, if I click compute next generation, nope, it's got stuff. It doesn't have the right size, but it's got stuff. Why does it have stuff?
We have one instance of the game.
Because it's on the server, right? The server maintains that one instance. If I open up Safari and hit the URL too, you would still see it all shares the same state. So this is one of those interesting things about web applications of what's on your server. So on a server, there's like only one game ever, and everybody shares the same game. Maybe that's what you want. Maybe that's the way your application is supposed to be. Well, it probably isn't, right? Most applications, there's this notion of a session that you have with the browser, and so that like when you go to, you open up, you've got Firefox open, or if you go to a different computer and hit that same URL, you might need to re-authenticate, or you'll see a different state. You'll go to a different page. Right now, because we've got the state all in one place, you see the same state, regardless. Okay, so then let's add a couple cutesy little features to this, and then we'll go home. So let's see here. What did I do here? Oh yeah, added a button to add a button to compute next generation. Oh, I hear book bags. Zipping. That's fine. 8:30. Put in your time. Okay, so like one thing that I don't like is that I could click compute next generation and it would blow up when I didn't have a game of life started. So I want to change this. I want to have that button disabled until I create a game. So let's do that. So when we create our next generation, oops, that's the wrong class. Next generation. When we create this, I'm going to say this next generation set enabled to false. Cool. Now I can't click on it. And here, when I start new game of life, after I get well, actually, maybe it's here. It's like whenever I display a generation. Yeah, when I have successfully gotten a generation, one of the first things I'll do after I set this, and I'll say this dot next generation dot set enabled to true. So now after I start my game of life, I can now compute the next generation. That's kind of neat. Oh, did it get to a steady state? Looks like it did. Bigger. It's huge. Look at all that change. Fun, fun, fun. Okay. Too big. Too many clicks. Okay, so too many clicks. So I added logic there to disable compute next generation button until a game has been created. Neat. The next thing I want to do is after I create a game, so I don't know. It's like I don't like having to click this button all the time. My finger gets sore. I'm an old man. So I want the game to automatically advance, like my command line did. Okay. So there is this thing in a GWT called a timer. And so what I'll do here is I'll add another button, which is oh no, I want to add a button. Is there a toggle button? Ooh, there is a toggle button, which is I'll call it automatically advance. Oops. Shoot, I don't even remember what a toggle button looks like. So this dot automatically advance equals new toggle button. What does it have? Ooh, I have images and up text and things like that. So what does up mean? Up text, down text. So when it's up, I'll call it start and stop. Maybe that'll make sense. I don't know. And let's just see what it looks like. So we'll go back to where I got all these buttons all here in a row. Input.add automatically advance. Oh, I bet. Well, shut up. So let's see what it looks like now. So start, stop. Oh, it's kind of depressed and things like that. We want the other. So that's up, and that's down. So they click on it. Okay. Okay, well that's kind of neat. Oh, this is another one of those buttons that I don't want to enable until I've got a game of life. So here I want to disable it initially. Set enabled false. And then when I display my generation, I'm going to say, oops, that, and I'm going to say this dot automatically advance. Set enabled to true, and then KS disabled, and so then start game of life, yay, now I can toggle the thing. Okay, well that's not very interesting. So now I want to say when I automatically advance, add value change listener. That's cool. New value change handler Boolean. Value change event. Okay, I have no idea what that is. I'm just going to call it event. So if event get value. So I wonder what that means. I'm going to find out. This is a toggle button. So GWT toggle button. Up down disabled example. Oh, there. Okay, that's a click handler. Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't like that. What was that state change event? Add value change handler. Oh, but it doesn't tell me what that Boolean means. I wonder if the Boolean is like is up. Let's give it a try and see if it. Well, I know what I can do. Alert event dot get value dot toString. Let's just see what. Oh, it doesn't like that. Oh. Alerter dot alert. Let's just see what that does. So let me reload this. Oh, didn't like. No, I didn't. Syntax isn't correct because I don't have that. Now it's happy. No, that's not what I want. This is what I want. Start new game of life. When I start, true. When I stop, false. Okay, that's good to know. So if event dot get value, then I'll say start automatic advancement. Funny English. And else stop automatic advancement. Now, what is all that going to be about? Okay. Well, that's neat. Okay, so what do I need to do there? There is a class in GWT called timer. And a timer is an object that will send trigger an event every so often, every number of seconds. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to create a timer. This timer equals new timer. Cool. Let's see here. Does this no parameters? And so every time this thing triggers, it's going to let's see here. Display next generation. That's what I'm going to have it do. This timer. Oops. Timer schedule. Schedule repeating. Yeah. So let's have it every 500 milliseconds. Let's have it do its thing. And then let's see here. This timer oops. Cancel is running run schedule. Yeah, I don't think that will actually start it, right? Cancel run is running. Is there a way to stop it or pause it? Maybe there's not. I have to look it up. Maybe I should look it up. GWT timer. Timer. It says schedule. Schedule the timer to run once in 5 seconds. Okay, that's not really what I want. So what does the run method do? Oh, it's abstract. Okay, that's not what I want. So I basically want to say cancel and schedule repeating. Okay, so I'm not ready to start it yet. So let's create the timer. Start automatic advancement will be this timer schedule repeating every 500 milliseconds. Oops. and then to stop automatic advancement, I say this .timer .cancel. So you probably won't. I'm guessing you won't use it in your GWT application, but it's kind of fun in mine. So let's see here. Reload. Start game of life. Compute next generation. That still works. Let's start. Let's see what happens. Ooh, look, there it goes. That was too easy. So we'll start a new big one. Oh yeah, it's still going. And you can watch it go. I don't really like the way it looks because the font's too small, so I should probably figure out how to fix that, but that is an exercise for another night because it is getting late. Actually, what I really want to do is I don't want it to have this text area. What I want to do is just have a grid, which maybe I can, I'll spare you all of that. Maybe do it as a bonus this weekend. Oh, look at it go. Oh yeah, I can stop it. I can start it again. That's kind of neat. You can see like the little blobs moving, and that some stuff has reached a steady state, and other things are still going and evolving. Oh, look, that one's going over to that one now. And anyway, hours of fun. Oh yeah, and did you notice I haven't had to restart my server in a little bit because I've been just making client-side changes. So now I've sort of gotten to the point where it's like I'm focusing on my UI because I've got most of my application built. Anyway, okay, so stop that. That's a lot of fun. Yeah, this is what you can do with GWT. And so let's see here. Let me commit this. Automatically advance the game board using a GWT timer. And yes, Travis, I'll go fix you tonight. Sure, it's just the test's not working correctly. Okay. Well. So that's some fun stuff with GWT. I hope you were able to. I'm going to keep going because let's watch it go. I hope that you were able to get a feel for some of the things that you can do, and I hope that this was enlightening and instructive for you for your projects. So please continue to send me email and questions and stuff as you encounter roadblocks. I hope that the GWT project is ultimately fun for you. There's, I think as you're all seeing, there's quite a bit of stuff to learn. There are some kind of weird corners, but hopefully after you've, gotten to a certain point, you can sort of do what we did just in like the last 15 minutes. Oh, add neat little things and experiment with the APIs, and learn about how it works. So it looks like it's reached a nice steady state. Oh wait, that one's coming up, and that one's going there. Anyway, it's like a fish tank.
So is it? Does that mean it's not fixed with?
It's the.
Popping in and out of there.
Yeah, it's it's got a little bit of a scroll bar too. Yeah. Okay, well now I think it's reached a steady state. Yeah. So start over again. Yes, and so I think so this is using text to display it. What I really want to use is actual like divs and stuff that are colored. And maybe if I have time this weekend, I'll do a screencast of where I changed that. Although it's not terribly relevant to your project, because you're displaying mostly text. This is a little bit more visual, and so we can use some other things there. But anyway.
So that what is the command for the non-dev mode again?
Oh yeah, Jenny run. Yeah.
Serve it up and check
Yep.
it out.
Sure. Let me quit dev mode. It's so Maven. I always do a clean.
It's a great idea.
Yeah.
That was like an hour of
Yeah.
background, so it helps.
Jetty run. So just like it was in Project 4, to run Jetty. Oops. It's probably trying to compile. Yeah. This is why Travis is complaining. Yeah, I'm just going to comment all this stuff
It's
out.
like on a different port, right? It should
Yep.
be on localhost
It's on 8080. Yeah.
8080 or
Oh, my tests fail, I'm sure. Generation service symbol. Yeah, okay, sorry. This is. Wait, what? Yeah, ping service symbol test. There we go. Okay, so now it's running on 8080. So now if I go to localhost 8080 appointment book, I think that's right. Oops, did it not load?
Well, don't you have it named some, do you still have the name of that? Isn't it appointments or something that you guys are paying or something?
No, that was for. What doesn't it like? Oh, it didn't find the appointment book.no cache. Huh. My guess is that. Oh, maybe one more thing to try. Maven clean package. Maybe it didn't run. Oh yeah, it didn't build. It didn't compile. So that was surprising. So yeah, I think I pointed this out in the assignment that you always need to do. You need to package, build the war, and then deploy in Jetty. Oh, and it was Jetty Run War, not. That's why I didn't. Okay, right. So it's not just Jetty Run. It has to be Jetty Run War, and that will package it up, and that will. Yeah, I think this will work correctly. Sorry about that. Okay, it builds the war and it runs. Otherwise, just Jetty Run just serves up the files as they are on the disk. That's how I test it. There we go. Yay. Okay, good. And so then do our 30, start the end of life, start. Go watch it go. Okay. Yes. So right. This is laid out in the assignment correctly. You need to clean this up the way. Here again, I'm going to test your projects by creating the archetype, extracting your source code into it, deleting your tests, doing Maven package, and then Jetty Run War, and then hit it in a remote browser.
Could you write that? Could you maybe send us a quick email and actually
Yeah.
just write what you just said? Was
I'll
that
just, like,
666? So
Yeah.
we go do it ourselves.
Reiterate what I said in class. I'm going to test your project 5 by 1, creating the new project from the archetype, from the new Maven project. God, new project from the archetype. 2, extracting your submission from the zip file into the newly created project. Run Maven package Jetty Run War. Hit your GWT application in a remote browser on port 8080. I might change it, but whatever. Should be okay. You probably want to make sure that this workflow works for you for submitting. Oh. No problem. My things are going. Oops, where is it? What was that big spreadsheet? Oh yeah, and that reminds me. I'll set up something. I didn't start it. Oh yeah, I shut it down. Yeah, stop. I believe you. Oh no. There we go. Yeah, this thing stopped. Also, at your pdx.edu email account, you should have received an email asking you to take a survey about the course. This is pretty standard for the CS department. I think they sent it out earlier this week.
Oh, not you.
No, I didn't send it. Yeah, it's from the department or from Department Tron 3000 Robot or whatever. Anyway, I appreciate your feedback. And as a matter of fact, this is the feedback that other people can see. So please, be honest about what you think about the course. This is what the department looks at. It's important to me the department has an accurate portrayal, good or bad, of what happens here in the course. And so please take some time between now and the end of the term. I believe you have until at least after next week, but the email should say. So if you want to be able to comment, have your comments include the final and everything like that, you can wait. But please make sure that you got it. Anyway, and I'll also follow up on the post. Okay. Anything else? Another late night. Okay. Awesome. See you next week for the final exam.